Good morning. Thank you for joining me if you are watching live. If you're watching retrospectively, again, thank you for joining me. Please feel free to say hello. If anyone is there watching, if you could just give me a wave or write a comment to say hello so I know everything's working and you can see and hear me okay before I start rambling on. I'm just going live today to talk specifically about our cookery and cake decorating courses ready for September enrolment. So I'm going to be speaking to you a little bit about how the courses work and what they look like, and showing you a couple of the workbooks as well, so you can actually see the content and get a feel for the course and if it works for you. But this is a really good opportunity, if you have got any specific questions, to bombard me with those. So, and I will do my best as I'm talking about the course to go through the comments and make sure I answer all of those for you. If you're watching retrospectively, feel free to still write in the comments questions. I will be monitoring this video over the coming days so that I can pick up any comments or questions as well. So hi Joe, thanks for saying hello. I'm just going to quickly explain what Technology Triumphs is for those of you that aren't familiar with us. So very quickly, Technology Triumphs has been established since 2018 now, and we are a very small but extremely passionate group of people in terms of working with young people and helping them to fulfill their potential. So we're a mix up of people who've worked in education and home educators ourselves, and even somebody who was home educated. So like I say, a very small, tight-knit family, effectively, not a big corporation, but we really passionately care about young people, and we do whatever we can to try and help them achieve qualifications that are perhaps otherwise denied to them from being in mainstream schools. So we specifically focus on creative subjects. So I was a DT teacher previously, my previous life, working in mainstream schools, and cookery is one of our, well, it is our biggest course we have. It's our most popular, and for good reason, I guess. It's a really important life skill. It's something we've all got access to. We should all have a kitchen at home that we can access. We've written the courses to be as affordable as possible, so we don't rely on specialist equipment. It should be stuff you already have in your cupboards, and at the end of it, as well as teaching your learner these life skills, they actually get a qualification. It can be a level 1 or a level 2 certificate. So that's level 2 GCSE. Now, just to reiterate, and I say this every time, whether or not a college or further educational establishment regards it as equal to a GCSE can depend on the college. It can even depend on the year you are applying or the course you're applying for. So if you are looking to do this qualification as a stepping stone into a particular college, which most people are, there is well worth you just phoning the admissions office and just checking with them with the course, the qualification title, that they would accept it in place of a GCSE in food technology, for example. Now, from our research and the parents that have been getting back to us, the good news is that they are accepting it for learners to go straight into a level 3 if they've got a level 2 certificate, for example. And to explain again, when I say it's level 2 a GCSE, but it's not a GCSE equivalent, or we can't say it is because colleges have their own admissions policies and they can make those rules up dependent on, for example, how many people are applying that year. But what's important to note, it is an off-call approved qualification, which is what some of the colleges will need to hear when you're having that conversation with them. And it's a level 2 certificate. It's worth 15 credits, and that equates to the amount of guided learning hours. Now, a standard pass rate GCSE is generally worth 12 credits. So you can see how it makes it level, if not even higher than a standard GCSE. And the level 1 award is worth 9 credits, which makes it level 2, like a D to G grade at GCSE. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between those two courses. If you're not sure which course would work better for your learner, I'll touch on that. So feel free, like I say, to ask any questions in dialogue whilst I show you some bits. I'll get started. So I'm now going to speak specifically about these courses. So through this week, we've got some live events on our mixed media, our entry level, and our textile courses as well. If you're interested in any of those, have a look on our main page to see when they are coming up. But otherwise, I'm going to crack straight on. Now, bear with me. This is a fairly new system to use in StreamYard, and I wanted to do this so I could actually show you the course and the content. So I'm just going to try and share my screen with you and hope it doesn't crash. Right, 1 second. Is it going to work? Now, hopefully, you should be able to see a screen that says Technology Triumphs and NCFE on it. I'm just going to ask if someone can confirm that they can see what I can see before I start yabbering on and you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. So if someone could just comment that you can see that for me, that would be great. Now, NCFE is the awarding body we work with. So if you weren't sure what that meant, it's basically an exam board. So you might be familiar with AQA, you might be familiar with EdExcel, for example. NCFE is one of the oldest awarding bodies, and it's an awarding body I worked with in schools previously. Thank you guys for confirming that. I'll carry on rabbiting on then. So NCFE, like I say, you might not have heard of them, but they have been around a long time. Lots of schools use them. Now, there's a specific reason we have chosen NCFE to work with as an awarding body, and that's because these qualifications don't have any bearing on spelling and grammar. It's all about skills and knowledge. Now, as a creative person, myself and a lot of the team, lots of creative people are dyslexic. Like I say, as are myself included. So it was important to me that we didn't eliminate creative learners from these qualifications or put extra obstacles in the way. So these specifications, all of our creative craft qualifications, don't have any bearing in terms of spelling and grammar. So we don't assess that. So long as we can understand what the learner is trying to tell us, then that's good enough for us. It's about knowledge and building skills and building a creative portfolio. So the other benefit of using this particular qualification is that it is all portfolio assessed. So there is no exam. Just scrolling through. There is no exam. It's all portfolio assessed, so that it takes that pressure off. That endpoint exam and everything relying on that 1 hour or 2 hours is taken away. You're assessed all the way through your course, and it's on building that portfolio, and that's how you get the qualification. So again, like me, if you're not great under pressure and can't necessarily perform on the day with an exam, this is a great qualification because it takes away that pressure. And it also means that we don't have an end point. And again, I'll touch a bit on this in a little while, but what that means is you're not all working to one date. You can take your time through this course. If you need more time because your learner just learns in a slightly different way, or you've had other things come up in the year or the 2 years that you're dedicating to it, or you've got other exams you need to focus on, then this can be put aside and picked up when you have the time for it. So again, it takes the pressure and allows for the flexibility around that. Now, how the courses work, they are remote. So I started off teaching 5 young learners around my dining room table. When I very first started doing that, I was still working in a school at the time. This was a part-time endeavour. And then that's when I realised that there was nothing out there for creative subjects for home editing families. It's just a nigh on impossible to get a qualification, for example, in design technology or food tech. So we started teaching these learners. Originally decided thought I was going to work in collaboration with a school to get them through some coursework and an exam. And then I decided that actually that was a really fragile setup. And if the school changed their mind, my learners would be left without their qualifications. So we went through the process of becoming approved under NCFE ourselves and independently, which is what we've done. And then about a year later, a family asked me if I would consider putting the cookery course online for them to be able to access, because they couldn't get to me in terms of travel to be able to do the lessons. Approached NCFE, we found a way around it, so we are able to deliver these qualifications remotely using a few different systems, which means that anyone around the country and even overseas, we've got some learners overseas, can access our course and be assessed and receive their qualifications. So when you sign up to a course, once you start, what you get is a login to what we call is our learning portal. And this is actually a portal that's designed by NCFE. They use it in colleges and schools around the country. You get a login, and effectively that's where you have access to the entire course. So, and like I say, I will explain, I'll show you our workbooks, in fact, but the way that we assess, like I say, it's all portfolio assessed, no stressful exam. It's a combination of written tasks where you're not assessed on spelling and grammar. So long as we can understand what you're saying, that's good enough. Photographic evidence, and then occasional video logs. The video logs are necessary because they're our way of being able to protect the integrity of the courses and prove to the NCFE that that young learner has the knowledge and skills necessary. And for example, it isn't a parent or guardian completing the work on their behalf. Now, if the video log sounds like a bit of an obstacle for you, please don't worry. We know that a lot of learners suffer with anxiety. We do ourselves. I hated the very first time I did one of these lives. I was a wreck. So I can fully appreciate not wanting to be on video. We've actually made a little troubleshoot document help guide for that. And we've been able to guide lots of learners past that obstacle. And we help you and work with you to help your learner get through that aspect of the course. Like I say, they are occasional. They're not throughout the course, every session. It's like on a level 2 course, it might be once once every 2 or 3 workbooks. And now I'm going to show you the workbook. I'm going to start with level 1 cookery. So all of our courses, bar one, are made up of 11 workbooks. And the reason that is because we've designed it almost to run like a GCSE would in a school. You'd start in term 1 of year 10 and you'd finish by term 5 of year 11. So there's 11 workbooks and they build, they're progressive. So they don't start with really challenging tasks. They start with more basic. That gives your learner the opportunity to sort of become familiar with the systems, get into the routine of using the workbooks and completing the work. And these have been designed for visual learners, which again, most creative people are going to be visual learners. So lots of colourful graphics. They're not designed to be printed out. That would obviously use up so much of your ink. They are designed to be typed onto. So these have been made so that you can actually type onto them and type responses, which again, for people that are struggling perhaps with handwritten work, this might make it a little bit easier as well. Now, throughout the courses or throughout the workbooks, you'll see these little indicators for videos. I'm just going to check that you can see this because I'm very aware that I have not changed my share screen. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Yeah, that's what I thought. 1 second. I'll go back and share again. Cool. Hopefully you can now see this is an example of the level 1 cookery book. So as you can see, I'll show you again. As you can see, you can click on and type straight into the boxes, making it hopefully a bit more user-friendly. Really colourful, lots of graphics. And every now and then you'll see a link that takes you to our tutorials. So if you click onto that, it will take you to our YouTube page and it'll give you a little tutorial that will help you with that section of the workbook. Now, it's important to note that not every session has a tutorial attached to it. It's where we felt it's necessary. So some skills you learn in the first initial workbooks and they're covered, and you can obviously apply that knowledge later on through the course. You don't need another tutorial for each of them. They're just where we felt it's necessary to guide the learner. Now, if you want to have a look at our tutorials, we have actually got them all open on our YouTube page. So if you just search in YouTube for Technology Triumphs, you can find all of our tutorials for all of our courses and get a feel for how they look and how they work. So this is the level 1 cookery, which includes recipes and tasks. You can see that there would here, for example, there's a tutorial on knife safety, an important one, and then you just have to complete the tasks associated with knife safety. So I would say people often ask us how much written work is there as opposed to practical work. Now, I would say it's about a 50-50 split. So for each session, you've got a bit of practical and a bit of written is how I would look at it. And in terms of how much time you commit to it, we can give you guidance on how long you should spend on the course, but actually every learner is different and there's no minimum or maximum time to spend on the course. You can take as long or as little as you need to. So it works for the learners and is flexible in that sense because there is no time constraint. You can work through it at your own pace. And again, I'll explain what I mean a bit more in a bit about in terms of flexibility and how we don't want to put additional pressure or stress on your learners. So that's a level 1 workbook. I'm going to just quickly show you the level 2. So that was level 1 cookery. I'm just going to, whilst I'm here, just going to check through some comments. Thank you, Joe Marina, about the workbook. So we're very proud of these. They did start off as Word documents, which were functional and they worked, but I really think having colour and images can be so much more engaging, and that's coming from an adult. So from a young person's perspective, I think it's going to be easier to get more enthusiastic about doing the work if it looks inviting. So I'm going to show you level 2 quickly so you can sort of see the difference in terms of work content. If it lets me share my screen again. Here we go. So here we've got level 2. So with the level 2, the written content needs to be in a little bit more detail. And in terms of the amount of content, it's roughly double the amount of work of a level 1. Now, if you're not sure whether or not your learner would be ready for a level 2 or a level 1, don't panic and don't just put them on the level 1 because you think, oh, it's better to err on the side of caution. And this is a frequently asked question, to be fair. You don't have to do the level 1 before you do the level 2. So I know a lot of learning providers will make you go through the whole learning process to keep you, I guess, as a customer for longer. For us, it's more important that the learner gets what they need, especially if they're looking to go into college and they need a particular qualification. So if your learner is ready to a level 2, they can jump straight to a level 2 qualification. If you're not sure, what we have done is we've created closed groups for each of the qualifications, and within the file section of those groups, we've got sample sessions. So what I'm showing you here is a whole workbook from Workbook 1. You can look at a session and compare it between the level 1 and 2 and see if you, or even work with your learner, show your learner which one do you think that they would cope with best. If they can do a level 2, then go for it. We give a guidance age of 13 plus for level 2, just in terms of reading ability. But there, like I said, there's no minimum or maximum age. So if you've got an 11-year-old who you know is reading to a higher ability and they're really passionate about cooking and they want to, and they've got the time to dedicate to a level 2, then you can put them on it if you think they're capable. If when we are assessing the work, we think they're struggling a little bit with the level 2 and perhaps, or they're starting to not enjoy it because there's a lot more written work, we will guide you and suggest that you move to a level 1. And, you know, the payments you've made towards level 2 transfer over to level 1, as does the work you've done as well. And same with level 1. We've had it a lot the other way around, where learners have been working their way through a level 1, doing fantastically, and I've suggested actually they're ready for the level 2, and just jump them up to the level 2 to get them that qualification sooner, and it's cost effective as well. So those are our level 1 and level 2 workbooks. I will show you the cake decorating. So level 1 and level 2 are like an overview of each of these courses. They cover all cookery, so it can be a combination of baking and also cooking main meals, sweet dishes, accompaniments, bread. Pretty much it's like an overview of everything you can do in your kitchen, whereas the cake decorating is very specific, that designing cakes and decorating them and the different techniques we can use to do so. So it looks like my screen keeps freezing. Hopefully I'm back with you now. Maybe not. Right, share screen. Here we go. So level 1 cookery, I'm going to show you. Sorry, cake decorating. What I'm going to do is show you the actual information pack, so you can get an overview of what that looks like. So as you might have heard right at the beginning, I said that with the exception of one course, all of our courses are over 11 workbooks. The exception is the cake decorating. So the level 2 cake decorating course has been designed as a bolt-on to the level 1. So level 1 cake decorating, there are 11 workbooks, and it takes you through basic decorating techniques and towards then making a minor project, that which takes you through the batch of cupcakes for a charity event, and then a major project, which is creating a celebratory cake based on a theme. So that we give you 3 topics: the natural world, sci-fi, or fictional stories, but you've got complete freedom within that. Now, the level 2 goes on from workbook 12 to 17. Now, we are really lucky. If anyone is familiar with this person or is interested in cake decorating, I would definitely urge you to go and find the Cake Illusionists Facebook group. A lovely lady called Hannah, she does this for a living. She makes sculptural cakes that look like actual animals, realism. And I was chatting to her, and she's very kindly donated us one of her tutorials, and that makes up the first part of the level 2. So you would have done the level 1. And then for level 2, you start off by watching Hannah's tutorial on how to make a turtle from a cake, sculpting it, and using an air gun. So, an air spray gun. And then you go on to do a final showstopper. And there is something that we call a business enterprise unit. And now this is something that is that occurs in all of our level 2 courses. So this is the other main difference between the level 1 and the level 2 course, is that there is a whole other unit called the business enterprise unit, and I'll explain about that in a minute. But yes, so the level 2 for cake decorating is part of includes the level 1 within it. So you can jump straight into the level 2, and you will work through level 1 fairly quickly, and then through the second half probably spend about the same amount of time. Now, if you are doing it as a bolt-on, so if you do the level 1 cake decorating because you don't think your learner's ready for the level 2 yet, or you're not sure that they want to progress that far with it, what you can do is work your way through the level 1. You then do the level 2 as a bolt-on, which is a smaller cost than if you were doing the level 2 as a whole qualification, if that makes sense. So that's those information packs. I also wanted to show you the overview for the level 1 and level 2 cookery, so you can see briefly some of the things that we cover there. Just going to change my screen. So level 1 cookery, roughly speaking, if you were to complete this course in 2 years, which is how it's designed to be done, but you can spend less or more time if you want to. But if you were to spend 2 years doing it, we would say roughly that you'd spend 1.5 to 2 hours per week term time completing the sessions. Each workbook is broken down into 6 sessions. So we've kind of designed it in line with school term times. So designed to be done over a 6-week period. And with the level 1, you would cook 3 times in that, and you would do 3 lots of theory. So you can see we start with workbook 1. A good way of getting everyone enthusiastic is focusing on sweet treats, so flapjacks, brownies and cupcakes. And then we move into savoury and look at main meals. We start looking at special dietary needs and adapting recipes and developing recipes before moving on to a major project, which I love this one. For the major project for the level 1 cookery is to create an entire afternoon tea. So doing research, planning, designing, making and evaluating an afternoon tea for a group of people. Normally it's a family, but we have had a learner who's done it for 20 of her friends. It was amazing. Where you make a range of sweet and savoury dishes that you'd serve at an afternoon tea and do a whole event. And then finally, a final evaluation of that event. So that's the level 1 cookery. I'm going to show you quickly the level 2 and how it differs. Level 2. And with level 2, so we've again designed to do for 6 sessions each half term, and this one's designed to do a cookery and theory session each week. So you'd be cooking 6 times in a half term, so once a week, and then the practical, the written work that coincides with that. So pretty much it's a bit of everything. I won't read out all of this to you, and don't feel like you've got to note this down or remember this. We've got these information packs available for you on our Facebook group, so you can have a look at these in more detail. But basically lots of sweets, savouries, main meals, desserts, starter, accompaniments. It really is about giving learners a complete overview and trial of everything. And then with the level 2 cookery, the main project, the end project, is designing and making an entire 3-course meal based on cultural foods. So it could be you'll be looking at food from around the world, and you could either focus on a particular culture that inspires you, or you could focus on several cultures, or you could merge cultures together and have some kind of fusion as well. And again, same sort of process. You're doing your research, planning, designing, making, and then evaluating at the end. I'm just going to check if there's any questions. Can the cookery work for vegetarians? This is such a good question. And yes, so it is something that comes up in our frequently asked questions quite a lot. So, and we've put this in the information pack, but basically the recipes given are just suggested recipes, and they've been designed to be as affordable as possible. So a lot of elements are taken out so that you haven't got to do a weekly food shop for each lot of food. Everything can be adapted to a way that suits you. So we have a lot of vegetarians, a lot of vegans, a lot of people with special dietary needs working through their courses, because actually you don't have to follow our recipes at all. You don't even have to do the same things we suggest or even similar to it. What we need to see over the course of the qualification is your learner demonstrating a range of skills and knowledge. So like I say, you can bin off our recipes completely and do your own thing, so long as through the course of that journey, I have seen all different skills and you're not just doing the same thing over and over again, then that's fine by us. And the only reason I would suggest maybe not going completely off on a tangent with the recipes is because a lot of the workbook associates with what you've cooked. So like I say, you can completely adapt it, remove elements, change it, find an alternative recipe. But it's about trying to look at what the skills what skills are being developed in that recipe and find something that does the same thing, if that makes sense. But yes, absolutely, it can work for vegetarians. If anyone else has got any other questions, please feel free to pop it in the dialog box and I will pick them up. I'm going to go back to my little screen share to basically remind myself what else I need to be telling you. So 1 second. It's a lot of information to take in. I'm very aware of that. Right. So, okay, moving on. So, like I said, we've got the engaging workbooks. They're pre-filmed tutorials, which is great as well for people. Well, for most people, to be fair, you're not obligated to come online on a particular day of the week or a particular time of the day. Everything's pre-filmed and given to you in advance, so you can fit this in around your other commitments. And that was a really important feature for us. I'm a homemaker mum myself now, so I know how difficult it is to timetable, especially when you've got more than one child as well, and just life happening around you. The amount of times I've missed live sessions, and so I totally get it. So the tutorials are pre-filmed. They're there for you to access whenever works for you. So hopefully it makes it easier for you to manage in your lives. You have assessor support. So effectively, the way these courses work is it's not tuition. You're not paying for a one-to-one tutor. And if you've looked at one-to-one tuition prices, you'll see that is definitely the case. That's not what you'd be paying for. It's a fraction of that course. What we are doing is providing support to you as the facilitator. You're the best person and you know best how your learner learns and how they work. So you're the best person to deliver that to them. Now, a lot of our learners, depending on their age and ability, can actually work through the course content independently and they get through most of it on their own. But otherwise, it's for the adult or facilitator to provide support as and when necessary. But we're giving you the tools that you need to do that. So obviously the content's there in the workbooks, the tutorials are there all filmed, but we're here for support when you need it. So it might be technical support, might even be that you're having trouble uploading a file and you just need a helping hand with that. We are there for that. If you need additional support in terms of knowledge, you have an assigned assessor. So on your learning portal that I said about, that's where you access your whole course, but you also have a messaging system that has a direct link to your assigned assessor. So if you are stuck with a piece of work, you can message them and they will get back to you. It might be me, it might be Debs, it might be Steve. There's, like I say, we're a small team, but you do have that direct lifeline, I guess. Yeah, the only thing to say about that is obviously you might not get an immediate response. So if it is urgent, that's where the closed Facebook groups come in really handy. So assessor support is there and we pick those messages up really fairly regularly, but obviously it might not be immediate. If you have something really pressing and you need help with it, the closed Facebook groups, which we have for each qualification, have become a really lovely community. The level 2 cookery is our biggest one, and it is a great place for getting extra support. One from us, because it might come up as a notification to us, but actually probably from other parents and other learners on the courses as well. I guarantee if you're stuck with something, there's somebody else that's had the same issue at some point. And what is so lovely to see, and we see it so much in the homemade community anyway, is the way that everyone bands in and helps each other out. So if you put a comment or a question on there, you'll have 5 people jump on it and give you a response and help you as well. So the closed Facebook groups are there. You don't have to be on Facebook to access our courses. It's just an additional support measure. So your learner doesn't have to have a Facebook account. You don't have to have a Facebook account, but it is there if you want it and would like to use it. We also have a Pinterest page, which is a great starting point for when you're researching for your minor and major projects. So we've pinned recipes and things that we think would be useful, and it's just a starting point. Obviously, you'll be expected to do a bit of independent work as well. And what we also do as another motivational tool, and just because it's fun to do, is termly awards. So each half term we give out, we nominate learners and give out prizes and certificates based on the work that we've seen coming in. But we also take in nominations from parents and guardians, because we understand everyone is going through their own learning journey, and actually your learner might have had a breakthrough with something during that term that might seem minor to somebody else, but it was a big deal to you and your learner. So we take on nominations from you guys, you guys, and we give out awards for those as well. And that's something we do on the Facebook page. Again, you don't have to be on Facebook to participate in that. You might just get a surprise in the post when a prize or certificate turns up. But what we also do is a monthly newsletter where we will summarize the winners on that, and we put that on our website as well, so that if you aren't on Facebook, then you can access it there. But I'm presuming that most of you are on Facebook because that's where you're watching me. Just going to check for any more questions before I move on. No, not yet. Cool. I will crack on. Like I say, if you are watching live and you've got a question, there is no such thing as a silly question. You'll probably be asking something that somebody else wants the answer to as well. So moving on. When my computer lets me. A couple of times. So like I say, we've computer needs to wake up. Okay, so we have kept the term flexibility in mind throughout all of our planning with these courses. So like I said, we want it to fit in around you and your commitments, not the other way around. We don't want to be another obstacle that you have to overcome. So we offer complete flexibility on how you complete your work and when you complete your work. As I said, the courses are designed to be completed over 2 years, but you can complete them in however long you need to. So we have lots of people that are fast track through the course because they need that qualification to get into their college, for example, in September. But more often than not, we have people who take longer to complete through the qualification. Now, there are no deadlines, and we don't believe that anyone is late. Everyone is on their own learning journey. And we know that a lot of other qualifications just don't allow this and can't allow this flexibility, which makes it all the more important that we do. So we can be the one that gives way when you've got other things going on, or if you've got other qualifications you need to focus on for a while. So basically, you pay for your course on a subscription basis, and it's one total price. Regardless of how long you take to complete the course, that price stays the same. So you could have finished your payment plan and still be submitting work long after, and we will carry on giving you the support, assessing your work and getting you through the qualification, even if, like I say, the payment stopped a long time ago. As far as we're concerned, you've paid for the course and that you've paid for that support and for that assessment, so we will honour that. So where it's obviously it's examples of how that's useful is obviously for people who are working for other qualifications and they've got a busy exam period coming up and they don't want to put additional stress on themselves, so they just stop doing their cookery work. It might be that you're having a kitchen renovation, so you stop doing your cookery work. It might just be that you need some headspace and you need a break from work for a while. That is absolutely fine. You're not going to be harassed or chased by us. Like I say, we've given you the tools and what you need to get the qualification. We're not going to force you to do something. We want this to be an enjoyable learning process and for your learners to be passionate about the subject they've picked. We don't want it to be a chore and to add additional stress in whatever already is a stressful world. So flexibility in terms of when you submit your work, but also in terms of payment. So like I said, these are subscription plans. Level 1 courses cost £20 a month and level 2 cost £25 a month. Now, we are due to put into place a new price plan from the 1st of July. If you book before then, or you've already booked, we will honour the old price plan, but just to say the difference between the two, so it just affects the total cost. So the level 1 would be, if you're booking before the 1st of July, you'll pay £460 in total. So that's 22 monthly payments of £20 a month, plus an admin fee of £20 that goes onto your first subscription payment. Level 2 is £25 a month for 22 months plus £20 admin fee. So, and that would be £570. From the 1st of July, the payment plan is changing. So we're effectively removing the admin fee, but adding on months on the payment plan. So it slightly goes up. So it's still £20 a month or £25 a month. And the first payment will be from the 1st of August as opposed to the 1st of September. And there's one additional payment. So it's over 24 months. Hopefully it makes it less complicated. If, like I say, technically speaking, if you are booking before the 1st of July, it will be a cheaper total cost, but you'll have a first payment that's slightly bigger than the rest of the payment plans. If that is confusing anyway, because I've just said a lot of numbers and that would have thrown me, feel free to ask me to clarify things. But the really, really good thing about these subscription plans is that there's no tie-in. Okay, so again, we don't want to be that additional stress, especially with today's financial climate. Things can change very quickly. if you need to cancel your plan at any point, you can. We just need 3 days notice to action it before the next payment comes out, and there's no penalisation. There's no judgment. We don't question you. You don't have to give us a justification for it. You can just say you're cancelling it. Like I say, this was so important to us to make these courses as affordable for everyone and to allow people to try them out, because if we were to ask you to pay up front for these courses and it doesn't work for your learner, then that's a lot of money lost, and we don't want to be those people. So it's no obligation. You can cancel at any point. But even better is that actually, if you change your mind and want to come back to the course, you just re-register and you pick up from where you left off. So you don't pay any extra. You just restart your payment plan until the course is paid in full. So hopefully that makes it easier for people in the financial terms, and especially when you're working out what you can commit to and you don't know what's coming around the corner. This can be cancelled at any point. And like I say, no judgment from us. We get it. What else was I going to say? Oh, dietary needs. So as somebody already asked, dietary needs are catered for. You can adapt and change the recipes to suit any dietary needs. I did say before, no minimum or maximum age. It might be worth pointing it out. We actually have a couple of parents who are doing the courses alongside their learners as well. So that's where I think it was relevant to say no maximum age, because you might well be interested in doing it. And it's quite a nice way of motivating your learner as well if you're doing it alongside your learner. Like I say, we can give a guidance on what age should be doing it in terms of reading age, but if you guys are the best people to judge what your learner is ready for. So if you want to have a look at the sample sessions and maybe have a go at them at home and see which one works best for your learner, just request to join the closed groups for each of the those courses. So by searching in Facebook, Technology Triumphs Level 1 Cookery, for example, it'll come up and you'll be able to. So, like I say, when deciding between the Level 1 and 2, the main differences between them is that you probably need a bit more of a proficient writer for the Level 2. It asks for more in-depth responses. So it's not enough to just give sort of bullet point responses. You need to justify and give it explanations a bit. But again, emphasis on the fact that there's no spelling or grammar assessment. So long as I can understand what you're trying to say, I need to see the knowledge more than anything else. And with the difference, again, in terms of time commitment. So roughly speaking, if you were following the 2 years, 1.5 to 2 hours for Level 1, whereas around 3 to 4 hours for Level 2 week term time. So it's about what time you can commit to it. Obviously, if you want to do the Level 2, but you haven't got that much time to commit each week, you can just do it over a longer period of time. And then the main difference, as I said, there's a business enterprise unit on the Level 2. Now, this might sound odd, but actually when you think about it, it really makes sense. So there's a whole unit talking about how you can make a living from the industry. So it talks about the different job opportunities, the different entrepreneurial opportunities. It looks at marketing, financial tools, all that kind of real world stuff that would help you to apply your skills in order to make a living from that industry. So for example, being a chef or baker or starting up your own business. So it's a heavier on the written work in the Level 2 because that's woven into the workbooks. But if someone is really passionate and interested in exploring this industry as a possible profession, then the Level 2 might be better for your learner as well. And what happens next? So obviously, everyone's going on their own journey. I can only talk about what people have shared with me, but I have in the last few months had quite a few parents contact me to reach out to say that their learner, as a result of their Level 2 qualification, has just got a place in college for Level 3. For example, in catering, we've got learners that are already in college and it's getting fed back to me that they're doing particularly well because they had such a solid grounding of knowledge from the course they've just done with us. So it is being used as a stepping stone to further education. It might be that you just want to do this because your learner is passionate about this subject and you just want to explore that. But I just want to let you know that is an option. And if you were thinking of your learner is thinking about perhaps going to college, catering college, or interested in exploring one of those routes, just give a phone call to the admissions office. Normally what they want is the formal qualification name. So it's an NCFE Level 1 award in creative craft cookery, or it's the Level 2 NCFE Level 2 certificate in creative craft cookery. And if, like I say, if you reference the off-qual credits, the fact that the Level 2 is worth 15 credits, that will give them what they need to know to be able to say. As an example, we have a young man who I believe he's done 3 IGCSEs, and then he's done a Level 2 with us in cookery and a level 2 in mixed media. And where a college needed 5 GCSE, including the creative ones and maths and English, they have accepted both of those qualifications in place of GCSEs, and he's now got a placement starting September. So congratulations to him. It's great when you parents share these stories with us, because obviously we can then share that information with everybody else. So I feel like I've rambled on long enough now. I'm just going to give you the opportunity, if you haven't already, just to ask any more questions. But basically, this is our enrolment period now for September. We have bookings open 3 times in the year. So you can start in September. The next opportunity will be for a January start, and the next opportunity will be for an April start. We are contactable in a variety of ways. To get hold of me, the best way is via email. Like I said, I do home ed myself, so I don't necessarily respond to emails Monday to Friday 9 to 5. You might get an email in the middle of the night, because that just happens to be the most convenient time with a 4 and 9-year-old at home. But I respond as quickly as I can, and it's generally within 24 hours. We've got the Facebook closed groups if you want access to further information, if you want to see the files, and also the information packs. So the information packs go into a lot more detail into how we assess, how we give you feedback, which is written feedback, which I know is quite useful for some people, and how you access the course. And it also shows you an overview of what that course looks like. If you want to book, we use Class for Kids. You might be familiar with this because they do lots of clubs for, they do lots of bookings for lots of clubs. If you just Google Class for Kids, you'll find us on there. It's under Technology Triumphs. But I'll also put a booking link here under this video when it's uploaded to the Facebook page. I think that's everything. I'm just going to check for questions. Okay, I can see some questions coming in. How often would we be cooking? Hi, Ella. So if it was level 1, roughly speaking, if you were doing this over 2 years, you would cook once a fortnight. If you were doing the level 2 and you were doing it over 2 years, you would cook once a week. Obviously, if you wanted to cook more, then you could just work through the course content more quickly. So, for example, if you're doing the level 2 and you did it over a year, you'd be cooking twice a week, if that makes sense. So you get all the course and all the recipes. When you have your login, you have access to the whole course. So you can work your way through it at whatever pace you want to. You don't have to wait for the rest of your class. There is no class really. It's you'll book on as a cohort, but you're all on your own individual journeys, and how you progress through the course is entirely up to you. So it might be that you've got, for example, a holiday coming up, and you want to get ahead of yourself before you go on holiday. So you cook twice a week in the week leading up to your holiday. Don't cook for a few weeks and then carry on. But like I say, there's no deadline. There's no falling behind. There's no such thing as you being late. You are on your own learning journey. And that's how it works. And actually, you can cook more often. If you just really want to be cooking, you can just keep cooking and use that as additional evidence to submit. So there's no restriction on how often you cook. And I'm pretty sure parents will be okay with you cooking their meals for them and helping out at home. Everyone's a winner. So yeah, let's see. Have we got another question coming through? Paula, sorry, don't know if you covered this. Is there a time limit for access to the course once paying, so to speak? No. So we, like I say, we want to make it sure that everyone can do this in their own way. NCFE can only hold data for 7 years in terms of being GDPR compliant. So we will pay every year as a company to have access to that portal. So in effect, you could have 7 years to do the qualification. You'll have access to the course. And like I say, you've got access to the course as soon as you log in. All of the workbooks are on there. So the idea is that the learning portal is a how would we call this? It's basically where we upload all of the course for you to be able to access it. You download the workbooks from there. You just click on a couple of buttons, download the workbook, and then you can work on it from your own device. When you're done, so each workbook, once you've completed it, you upload it back to us on that portal, because it's got a huge storing facility. So we used to use Dropbox, which caused a lot of problems, and people ran out of storage space. So we've paid for this program so that it eliminates that. And it also allows you to have a direct link to your assigned assessors. You can send messages through the messaging service. So effectively, not unlimited amount of time to complete, but a decent amount. It should hopefully be enough for most people to get through in that time. Any other questions, guys? I'm hoping I covered everything that I needed to cover. I know I was talking for quite a while. Like I said, we'll be doing a few more of these through the week. We've got mixed media tomorrow. I believe, and then entry level on Wednesday and textiles on Thursday. So I'll be talking a bit more. I will be repeating some of the stuff I've said, but in case there's people on there that haven't seen this live and they're only interested in a particular subject, but it will be looking again about how those courses work and the content of those courses. But thank you so much for joining me. If you know of anyone that might be interested in the qualification, please share that information. We don't like to pay Facebook for advertising. We think they do well enough, and we rely heavily on personal recommendations. I think nearly all of our bookings come from personal recommendations from other parents, and you guys and parents that are already on the courses, or learners that are already on the courses, are the best people to be able to recommend us, because you know what the experience is like. So we appreciate that very much. But yes, I shall leave it there. If there's no more questions, I'll ask one more time and give you one last opportunity to ask any questions. If you think of something retrospectively, I know that's the sort of thing I do. I put the phone down and go, that's what I needed to ask. Feel free to pop it on the chat, and we've been monitoring it and make sure that we answer as well. But yeah, if you're interested in any of the other courses, maybe I'll see you tomorrow or later on in the week. Feel free to get in touch. technologytriumphs@outlook.com is the best way to get hold of me directly. And no question is a silly question. Please feel free. That is what we are here for. That is our role, is to help and support you as the parents and facilitators of your child's learning. Marina, my son's really looking forward to starting out. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad it's helped with some enthusiasm. What I didn't say, actually, no, this might help in more with the enthusiasm. So as part of the price plan change, what I've actually done as well is decided to send out a little, not a care package, like a starter pack. So everyone will get this regardless of when you book. So even if you book in early and you get the cheaper deal, you're still going to get this starter pack. But we're going to send out an information pack. So it will have the information booklet on there and some other information like the user guide for the portal. Because although everything is online and it's designed for you to complete everything online, I know what it's like as well when you've got multiple courses or multiple children doing things and you get an email, then trying to find that email when you need it can be a bit of a nightmare, and hence me missing lots of live events. So we're getting them printed for you so that you've got that reference and go to if you need it. And also we're going to send a little apron, a Technology Triumphs apron for your learner as well. So you'll expect, so if you are paying, if you're booked before the 1st of July, you'll receive that right at the start of September, because that's when your first payment will come out. If you're booking after the 1st of July, your first payment will come out in August, so you'll receive your pack then, but everyone will have these. Cool. Any other questions? Thanks, Pip. Really informative. Signing up for cake decorating level 1 as soon as I get off the live. It's dangerous, though, I tell you, the amount of sugar. But it is fun, and it is a nice creative one. But yes. Oh, well, like I say, any other questions, do give me a shout. That's what I'm here for. Hopefully see you again soon. Thanks for joining me.